Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start my speech by asking you guys a question. How many of you aren't happy with the way you look right now? All right. Well, let me show you a picture. This is a picture of a Victoria's Secret model and Taylor Lautner, in case you don't know. But after looking at these photos, how many of you now think that you can look better? Maybe you can shed a few pounds or gain some muscle mass? Yeah? Right. I guess we can all agree that what we see can change our perceptions of what beauty is. And so as a communication major at Cornell, I spent a lot of time studying the theories that social scientists come up with to explain the various effects of the media on its viewers. Today, I will present evidence to you that the media has a stereotype for what beauty is, the various negative effects of the stereotype on its viewers, and also the ways that you, as editors and producers, can change this media stereotype. Firstly, it is undeniable that the media has a stereotype for what comprises of beauty in the media. The earliest research that studied the relationship between body image issues and the way the media portrays these body image issues and the way the people have their effects is by looking at Playboy Playmates and as well as Miss America pageant winners. And so they found that there was a decline in body size over time between the years of 1950s and 1980s. Basically, they calculated the heights and weights of these people and converted them into the body mass index, otherwise known as BMI. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention defines a healthy BMI of a figure of somewhere between 18.5 and 25. However, the research conducted by Spitzer et al. Found that the BMIs for the Playmates ranged between somewhere between 17.91 and 18.40, whereas the average BMIs of the Miss America pageant winners declined from 1950s, whereby it was 19.35, to 18.026 in 1980s. Other than that, there's also an overrepresentation of thinness in the media. A research conducted by Greenberg et al. Coded the body sizes of 1,018 major characters on primetime television, and they found that even though only 5% of US women and 2% of US men are underweight, the characters portrayed in the shows have 30% of female characters who are underweight and 12% of male characters that are underweight. And also, compared to the thinner characters, the larger characters will also portray to have more negative personalities as well as fewer romantic relationships. So now that we know that there is a stereotype in the media for what beauty is, let's look at what the negative effects are. Firstly, there is an increase in unhappiness among males and females. A research conducted by Thompson found that between 40 to 60% of females are unhappy or unsatisfied with some aspect of their body. A different research conducted by Caffrey et al. Found that men are also becoming more and more dissatisfied with their bodies. Secondly, an ideal body image in the media has brought about many eating disorders. The first one that we're going to look at is anorexia nervosa, whereby there is a refusal of intake of food. And the second one is bulimia nervosa, which is a consistent purging, binging, followed by a consistent purging in the form of vomiting and also the use of laxatives. Although some people may oppose to this by saying that there is not evidence to directly suggest that an ideal body image in the media causes eating disorders, there has been a lot of other evidence to suggest that these two factors are correlated. And so there is reason for us to be concerned, and there is reason for us to take action. As editors and producers of magazines and TV shows, you may be wondering, what are the steps that you can take to change the media stereotype of the ideal body image? Well, do not fret, I have some lined up for you. Firstly, you can overcome the media stereotypes by intensifying the diversifying efforts that have been made to diversify the body types in the media. For example, MTV's new show Chelsea Settles features a girl who is overweight, Chelsea, getting back into shape, getting healthy, and finally achieving her lifelong dream of working in the fashion industry in LA. This portrayal of the larger women positively gives the audience a feel that they can achieve their goals too. and so it encourages them to believe in themselves and their dreams, no matter how they look like. Another example is a magazine in Germany called Brigade. This magazine has decided to avoid using professional models, but to replace them with, quote, real women upon receiving complaints that the models featured in their magazines are too thin. Secondly, you can overcome the media stereotype by avoiding advertisements and content that features prominently the pursuit of thinness in magazines and television shows. This is important because when you have advertisements and content that constantly features the pursuit of thinness, it encourages its audience to pursue thinness as well. In conclusion, there is a stereotype for what beauty comprises of in the media, and this has brought about many negative effects, such as an increase in unhappiness and an increase in eating disorders. As producers and editors of magazines, you should definitely take action to change the media stereotype of the ideal body type by diversifying the body types in the media, as well as avoiding and eliminating content and advertisements that focus on the pursuit of thinness. Before I end my speech, I'd like to show you the same two pictures I showed you again. This time, I want you to think about the message that you are sending across as the editor and producer of magazines and TV shows to your viewers. How do you think your viewers feel when they look through your magazine and TV show and all they see are people of this body type? Do you think that they walk away feeling satisfied with their own bodies? Or do you think that they walk away feeling trapped in their own bodies? Keep this in mind the next time you decide who to feature on your magazine or TV show, because your viewers' happiness lies in your hands, and you can make a difference. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so I guess I'm a editor, producer of Popular Magazine.
Okay.
All right, so I work for Playboy, and this is a magazine that's not necessarily targeted towards women. So what's the advantage in it for me to get away from the stereotype and diversify the body type for our magazine?
All right. Let's see. In Playboy, you feature prominently women who look like the pictures that we showed earlier, right? Thin, skinny, and toned. But in real life, when you look around, do you see everybody? Do they look like this? Does everybody look like this? No, right? So why are we creating an image to the men that this is what the women should look like, when in real life, people don't look like this?
Well, I don't know if we're trying to create an image saying this is what everyone should look like. It's just like what our industry is built on. It's an art form, if you like.
Well, I think that the motives are questionable just because that it is influencing the people a lot, and so it's changing their mindset that if they don't look like this, they're not beautiful, and this is hurting the society more than it's doing its good by presenting art form. Yes.
Hi, I work for Glamour, and when my sales go down, if I changed the models.
Right, this is definitely an issue that we should look into. For example, I like to quote the Going Green efforts. In the beginning, people went against it because they said that, oh, this is going to increase the cost and it's going to cost lots of money to our company. But in the end, everybody started to adopt the concept. And I think that it's the same thing with media stereotypes. If everybody starts to change their models and feature diverse body types in their magazines, then eventually it'll become acceptable, and then you won't lose a lot of money. The hardest part is just taking the first step, because nobody wants to do it. But if you don't do it, then how is humanity going to advance? Who's going to account for all those people who die from pursuing thinness? So it really depends on doing the right thing and whether you can go to sleep at night. Yes, you may boost your sales, but other than that, you're hurting humanity. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes.
Who?
Who?
Speak up.
Come on. Not that Yes.
Okay, I'm an editor of Vogue magazine. Don't you think it's important to have, I don't know, considering the like a high percentage of the population is obese or overweight, don't you think it's a good idea to have models who represent maybe an image that people might aspire to be like a woman who is skinny, like say for a woman who's trying to lose weight, don't you think that could be kind of an incentive for them to want to lose weight? If they see women that are all like them, you know.
Right. I definitely think that there is reason for us to portray a healthy woman in the magazines in order to give the overweight or obese population an incentive to lose weight. However, I don't think that the women portrayed should be this skinny with a BMI of below the healthy BMI defined by the Centers of Disease and Prevention. And so perhaps if we use real women, quote real women, like the magazine in Germany called Brigade, it would be better because then it's an achievable goal. And so these overweight population won't be striving to achieve something that is nearly impossible for the normal women to achieve as well. Yes?
Have you done any research on airbrushing? The
Airbrushing.
prominence of that? Yeah. Like, do you think it would be okay just to have women of all types as long as the pictures weren't altered to make them look like unnaturally skinny? Because some people are just naturally thin and healthy.
Right, airbrushing. I'm not opposed to the idea of airbrushing as long as it changes the women to still look like something that is achievable, because in these cases, these women probably aren't so thin as well, because like for example in Ralph Lauren's campaign, they airbrushed this image of this model, which they eventually fired because she was too fat, to have a waist that was smaller than her head. And so that is nearly impossible to achieve, and it's really ridiculous. And so airbrushing, when used in the wrong way, it can send across a wrong message as well, because a young girl may look at that photo and think that, oh, maybe this is achievable, that I can have a waist that is smaller than, you know, my head. And so that is sending across a wrong message, I think. Yes?
But how do you define real women? Because I feel like every woman has a different definition of that.
Right.
And
right. According to the magazine that in Germany, what they did was they chose women of a healthy BMI, and so as long as they're not below the body mass index, they would be normal. So somewhere between 18.5 and 25.
Great.
Thank you.